Hello and welcome to A Cup of Conversation on BRT TV. My name is John Guzzi, and in the studio today I have a brand new friend, a lovely lady. We have an artist. We are very lucky to have some gorgeous artwork in the studio as well as on the screen while we speak later on in the programme. But my guest today is art teacher and fantastic artist Şeniz Ercüment, and I'd like to welcome you first of all, Şeniz, to the programme. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, John, for inviting me.
You're more than welcome. We have a nice mutual friend, Nevra Çağlar, and you chatted with her before coming onto the programme, and you went back in time a little bit. You know, you have a long history with Cyprus. Although, like me, you're a London Turkish Cypriot. Where were you born? Were you born in London or were you born here, Şeniz?
I was born in London.
In London?
I was born in London, in North London, in Haringey, but I've lived all over London.
And then you came to Cyprus with your family.
Yeah, I've moved out in 2005. But obviously before that, I used to come out on holiday.
Like we all did.
Like we all do. Yeah.
Summer holidays in Cyprus, lots of weeks in the sun.
Yeah, which ended up a lifetime in the sun.
When you were coming over here then, because that's how you met my friend Nevra, because you were neighbours, I think, weren't you? When you were coming over to stay, your grandmother lived in the same street as her?
Yeah, 3 doors down from her. And yeah, we met while I was on holiday.
So, and you always loved Cyprus, I presume, because that's why you wanted to come out. Did you always think of coming out here to live?
I did, definitely. Ever since we were, I mean, when I was young, like I said, we used to come every summer, and it was them summers where you cry, like going back, you don't really want to go back. So I always intended, like, the intentions were always there. You had a special place in your heart, Cyprus. Yeah, definitely.
And you've been here now 15 years.
15 years.
At full time.
15 years with no going back home.
No going back. We were talking about that. You were asking me how often I went back. And I thought you'd say, well, I go back every year or something. But I hadn't gone back until 15 years this year. But you haven't been for 15 years since you come. That's a long break.
I've broken your record.
You've broken my record.
There.
You have, Şeniz. Well, it's lovely to have you here. And you're here because you're a very, very talented artist. And I want to thank you for bringing your work in today and taking time out of your schedule to come to BRT to share your artwork.
Thank you.
So, when you were younger at school, was art your favourite subject then?
I think art has always been my favourite subject. You know, like how they say you paint before you write, and children tend to sing before they speak and dance before they walk.
Yeah.
I think that's what it did, because I've always felt as if art can express much more than words ever can. For me, anyway. So yeah, it always was my favourite subject.
So you had a talent at school. They saw that. Was it always for you then art? I want to do something with art in my life. Was it always going to be something to do with the visual side of life?
I think, you know, now you said that, that just reminded me of a friend that I had. She sent me a message the other day of a photo of one of my textbooks that was covered in artwork. And she sent me a messenger, said, Şeniz, look at your book. And I think it was a maths book. But it looked
she had it?
Yeah, she kept it in like an art pad, because there's more drawings in there than anything else.
So it was always going to be art for you.
Part of my life.
You actually graduated in what field?
It's in media. Did like desktop publishing and photography, all in one, but yeah, it turned out a bit different.
So photography, it's still a visual art. You know, you have to have a good eye to, to capture the right scene. But art has always been there for you. So have you always been drawing and painting? Because you've brought canvases in today, just a couple of examples of your most recent work. But have you always been, sketching, doodling, drawing, painting?
And I've been doing that since, like I said, ever since, I mean, it sounds really cliche, but ever since I can remember.
Yeah.
Yes. But, I mean, canvases and, like, painting, this is acrylics. This, I'd say, started about 7, 8 years ago. And then you just keep working on, because art, you just sort of, like, everything inspires you. And it's like little things in life. I mean, even the sound of water can inspire me to do a painting about the sea, for example.
Oh.
I mean, in these ones, you see like more nature, but this is my collection, which is hopefully it will grow further, of blooming women. And
I love it. So blooming women, this is actually a recent thing of yours now, because you call this multimedia art.
Multimedia art.
Because of the fact that you're using different media. It's become
3D,
3D. It's not
3D.
just acrylic or paint on acrylic. You've got, I mean, even the glitter, the gold paint,
Yeah.
and also the flowers.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. So where did this come about all of a sudden?
This is also another form I use to express myself because, I mean, when I thought of the beauty of women, and it's usually stuff that you can feel more than you can say. I always say how if I could explain myself, I probably would have been a writer. That's why I've chosen to be a painter, an artist. With these, I wanted to express my feelings of women's thoughts, and sometimes you think of the most beautiful things, and here, I mean, I've touched nature, but sometimes it could change, like I just mentioned the sea, and even talking to you randomly now, I was like speaking to myself in my head, and I said, why not have like seashells and other things, maybe, instead of the flowers?
There you are.
You see, so it's just ideas always popping up.
Yeah, and in fact, I mean, Cyprus is quite an inspiring place in that respect, because, you know, you can easily go to the sea and listen to the sea, maybe paint by the sea, although you said water even inspires you to think of the sea, but you can even go, I mean, this looks like you could be in the mountains and see the flowers or the orchids that we have, or, you know, beautiful though. Are these ladies based on anybody, or this is from imagination? Or should we do, or do we not reveal who they are?
Do you know, you've said that now, I've just seen that one's hair. What happens is usually, I mean, I think most artists do this, there's always a little bit of yourself in your canvas. And one of my friends once mentioned to me, why do you keep drawing a woman with curly red hair? And I didn't even notice until she pointed it out. But I think there's always a little bit of yourself in the canvas, or something that you're thinking of, or a person that you're thinking of. And it sort of like touches the canvas. So I always say canvas, I mean, a piece of art is loads and loads of things. There's mistakes on that, that I've changed into something else. It's just hours and hours of work that keep changing. So it's like a story. You buy a story, not just a canvas.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, for you, it's an enjoyable process. It's your feelings. You're very, how can I put it? Not emotional, but you're very, very attached to your artwork, I think, and how I feel. You know, you're inspired and you put a lot of effort into it. So that's, I can imagine, you know, it's not easy maybe to even part with these if you had to part with them. I suppose they're a bit of you. I mean, as you say, that lady's hair there looks like your hair now. We were talking about your hair. We were saying that, you know, you have very good hair for TV. You have very good studio presence, Şeniz.
They're a she lion, thank you. Lioness.
Yeah, well,
thank you.
Are you a Leo then?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's
Aquarius.
But going back to art, you are an art teacher as well, in fact, here. I know that you are working part-time as an art teacher.
Yes, I work in a private college.
So you never gave up art, even though you were saying to me off air that you didn't come to Cyprus with the intention of working full-time or working at all. But in fact, with your part-time jobs and doing all your art, you're probably busier than most people. I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean, even that, because it's quite fun. I really enjoy teaching other people to widen their imaginations.
Yeah.
So, I mean, arts, when I say art teacher, it's not, some people say, what's the rules? I mean, I don't have no rules in my classroom. I like them to express themselves fully. You know, like there is, I mean, when you're drawing, there's like a special ratio or eyes, nose, where it's supposed to sit, whereas I sort of like let them free completely. And I like watching my students as well as they sort of like produce their work, because you can I can sort of see and imagine and hear their little brains ticking away and it producing the most amazing things.
What age range do you teach then? Is this secondary school, primary school?
I've done, since I've been in Cyprus, I've done really, really young, like preschoolers as well.
Really?
Yeah, preschoolers, but now it's secondary school as well as preschool. Preschool is when we actually start the arts, and that's when the magic begins.
I was going to say to you, the reason why I'm asking is because obviously your technique is very advanced, and when you're describing your students working away, I'm thinking of the more older students, maybe those who want to take art, GCSE even, or something like that, or, you know, take it even further. But preschoolers, when you're putting your fingers in the paint and making, you know, that must be quite difficult though, because you're so talented yourself. Maybe I was thinking maybe you might not get pleasure from going so young, but should we start so young with the children and the art?
Definitely,
yeah?
Because, you know, you just said the handprint. the magic is where you turn a handprint into a duck, or a handprint can turn into an animal, or anything else.
Yeah.
2 handprints will turn into a butterfly. And that's when the imagination starts getting more and more creative. So yeah, I enjoy working with all ages. I mean, I do secondary school as well, the ones that do take up GCs, and I mean, totally different ages, but even then, I mean, it's not just a class, because I do an art activity class. It's also time to get away from daily stress. They use it to, it's like a meditation.
Yeah.
But they're producing really nice stuff, which helps them. I mean, you know, I mean, every age has got its beauty, seriously.
You've sent me some pictures which we're going to show now, and it's a big range of work that you've got. But a lot of the stuff I've seen now that you sent me is to do with murals.
Yeah.
You like to paint on walls.
Murals is actually a new project that I've started off with one of my friends that I love working with. We've started doing murals in Cyprus. We've got a Facebook page as well, Mural Art, North Cyprus Mural Art Cyprus. And we started off with doing a few walls at the school the private school that I work in.
Yeah.
But then that sort of like changed form. We started doing children's bedrooms. So again, I've been working with children, and we found that simple little designs and colourful walls can make a child very, very happy in his or her bedroom. And just seeing them little faces bright up, it's sort of like, we've said, okay, we're doing the right thing now. So that's like quite new to us, but I'm really enjoying it.
So with that, do you speak to the child what they want, or do you choose what you want to paint?
Sometimes we ask the child what they want and sort of like shape it up so that it could last a few years, instead of doing like characters. Maybe, I mean, because you get like children that want a certain character, and then they'll grown out of it.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
We sort of like shape it up a bit.
So I mean, it could be trees, animals. It could be
space.
Yeah, anything.
Anything.
What do you prefer doing? I mean, you got such a variety of work, but is there a special thing that you like? I mean, is it the women that you like doing, or is it landscapes, or is it murals, or animals, or I mean, what if someone asks you what your favourite
do you know
thing
what
to
I
do
think
is?
it is? It's not. I don't think I'd have a favourite, because I'm as long as I've got a brush in my hand, I'm really happy.
Yeah.
But it's what happens at the end. Like, I've done 3 exhibitions for charity.
Yeah.
And probably, I don't know, in every single one, I probably sold over 30, 40 canvases. And it's the end that was really rewarding. I mean, with the friend that I'm doing the murals with, we did our first exhibition in aid of cancer. Mm-hmm. And then we did one for refugees in Cyprus. And then the last one we did for a friend of a friend who was suffering from breast cancer. And it wasn't the canvases individually, but because I knew that at the end it was going to shed light and help somebody else. That, I think, is the most rewarding part of it. And that makes it worth all the effort that you put into it.
But isn't it sad, though, to say goodbye to your artwork? I mean, you spend so much time and effort, and you're inspired by things, and then you say goodbye. Although I know that you also you print your work, you have prints of your work, don't you?
Yeah. So you don't usually say, it's not like a complete goodbye, they sort of like stay there anyway.
Yeah, so they're always there, you always reference back to them, but the original was gone, has been sold for a good cause.
Yeah.
So you're a very lovely charitable lady who will support a cause here and give your artwork. Mm. But, it's amazing what you've produced. Does Cyprus inspire you, do you think? Now that you're living here, do you get sort of like, although you are busy, does the way of life here, the lifestyle, the laid-back atmosphere, does it inspire you to create more work?
The nature does. I mean, somebody once asked me when I first moved out, why Cyprus? And I said, because I love colours. And at the time, the tones of blue and green on the islands, I was like, oh my God, you could just take a canvas by the sea and you could produce something really nice there, and it's an inspiration everywhere. So yeah, it does.
It is amazing, isn't it? You know, the light here as well. You know, you got beautiful sunsets and so many things to inspire us, I suppose. So you like teaching. You enjoy sharing your knowledge with the students.
Sharing my knowledge and watch them grow and produce better things than I can sometimes. Sometimes I look at them and it gives you a feeling of pride to see them produce really nice stuff. And I always say, you will all individually produce much better stuff.
Well, they have a very good teacher. So obviously, if the teacher's good and they produce better things than the teacher, then the teacher's done their job very well. Do you ever think about having your own exhibition just for yourself, not for any charity, but just to show your work to everyone? Because as you've done so much over the years, you know, maybe it would be time just for you, just for Şeniz.
I did. I don't usually like working so much solo, but the Blooming Women started off. I did actually at one point think of all the magnificent, strong women that are living in Cyprus, and even though then I'd want it to be a voice for somebody else as well. Yeah. So it's not just so much. I mean, I think there's many artists that can paint a canvas and just sell it for profit. That's not really what I want. My artwork is usually really affordable because of this. Because I mean, just seeing it on somebody else's wall, and I always say life is too short for plain walls, and I think everybody should have colours and everyone has the right to be happy in their homes. With colourful walls. So
I bet your home is full of all colourful pictures.
Yes,
paintings.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Do you have any favourite artists that you are inspired by when you were younger, or even now? Is there somebody that you aspire to and think, wow, that is somebody that is...
Nobody in particular. No, not in particular. It's usually more quotes. I mean, you'll see in the pictures that I've done before, a quote that I've had somewhere, read somewhere, could inspire me to do a completely different bit of artwork. So it's usually, I mean, little quotes that I use that inspire me to do paintings.
Okay, which leads us very, very conveniently into this that you brought in, and it's actually a magnet, and we have a quote on it. This is your picture.
That's my hummingbird.
That's your hummingbird, and it says, "Your wings already exist. All you have to do is fly." So you were inspired by that.
Yes.
So the quote came first, then the hummingbird.
Yeah.
Or did you draw the hummingbird and then find a quote to go with it?
No, the quote came first, and that inspired me to draw the hummingbird.
So is that what you're like? Are you also quite into inspirational things?
Yeah.
And because you're inspired and then you inspire other people. I mean, look at these gorgeous women. So, you know, there is some sort of, you know, balance there, isn't it, between being inspired and also inspiring others?
Oh, of course.
Is that what you hope to do as well? Do you hope that as a teacher you inspire your students as well?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, I'm hoping that one day, many years maybe down the line, to see one of my students maybe go to one of their exhibitions. That would probably make me one of the happiest women ever.
Wow, that would be nice, wouldn't it? And to be invited and say, you know, Miss, look, you inspired me. Now this is my exhibition of artwork. That you know, that would be a very good legacy for you.
Another plan that I had, I can mention here now, was I have an intention of like maybe getting a few women together and doing canvas, like little parties, canvas parties, where you can get a group of people, maybe with a glass of wine, all painting maybe the same picture and see how each one turns out.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
An hour of creativity.
Do you think, Şeniz, it's too late to learn art?
No.
It's never too late?
No. Never too late to learn any of the arts. It's never too late for music or art.
So maybe, I mean, we've gone down to preschool up to secondary school. So let's say you had a group of friends or a group of women who were interested, or anybody, men or women, interested in doing art, then maybe you would consider...
Definitely, I'd be very happy to paint with them.
To paint with them?
Yes, definitely.
A small group of people, just chatting, like you say, with a glass of wine, a few nibbles, maybe even have somebody as your model.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, but like I said, I mean, sometimes I find it really interesting when you look at the same picture, not exactly a reproduction, because then it changes. I always say, I mean, I do it with my students. I've done reproductions myself before, by the way. But what I do is, like, say, if we take a picture and then everybody adds a little bit of themselves into it, right? And then at the end, you can sort of like compare the canvases and see the differences. I mean, a sunset could be anything from orange to pink to yellow, and then it's really interesting to see how it turns out.
That is very interesting. When you say you do reproductions, I mean, you're talking about copying the original that you've seen and doing your own version.
What happens is sometimes people see a nice picture somewhere, public domain though, and then they'll say, can you paint this for me? And just with tiny little differences, I try to copy that with adding a little bit of my touch into it.
That's very, very difficult though, isn't it, really?
It is.
Because it maybe constricts you in some way, because you have to do something that is similar to the original as well, because they like that at first, didn't they? It's not like saying, Sheniz, can you do me a picture of, you know, of a photograph that I've given you of my dog or of my family?
Yeah.
Although, do you get commissions like that though as well? Could you ever work from a photograph or?
You've just mentioned that I love painting dogs.
Really?
I've actually, I've also, that just reminded me, because I've also given a dog canvas away for a group on Facebook that help home dogs.
I think, were we talking about the Hope for Pets? Was that before?
Yes.
They recently had a bazaar, and they have many events, and so again, you can work towards the concept of what you're supporting.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah, no, I find dogs really, I love painting dogs. The big eyes that dogs have, I love painting dogs as well. Well,
you might, after this programme, you might get a few commissions now saying, you know, can you please paint now? Because obviously pets are very, very valued by their owners, part of the family, and they've always wanted to be, you know.
See, as you paint that dog, looking into the dog's eyes and feeling the love the owner has, it makes me very happy.
Do you go for, I mean, these ladies are very realistic, but it doesn't have to be realism. It doesn't have to be one-to-one. You're not looking to make a reproduction of or like a photograph-looking painting. But, you know, you enjoy working from real life and also using your imagination. But you're saying to me, let's go back to these, Ian, because they're here in the studio now. These multimedia canvases, these blooming ladies, is this new for you to add extra to your paintings, to your canvases? Is it new to find these? I mean, first of all, where do you find these things?
All over the place. I've got a little art room in my house. It's like a collection of things that I found pretty at the time. And I mean, the room is sort of like growing now into taking over the whole house for me. But I just find them everywhere.
So you found them, and then you decided to use these blooming women.
I keep things aside thinking that I will use them later on in the future, and I usually end up using them, so.
What's the response like to the 3D pictures? Because I've never seen something like this before.
They love them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think when you look at these now? Are you thinking this is amazing, I want to do more?
I just get more ideas now. I mean, just International Women's Day is coming up in March.
Yes.
And just looking at that one, I just thought of a head blooming with carnations. And I was thinking to myself, how can I put them red carnations on? This is the problem, John. When you're working with the arts, I presume it's the same with music as well, but you don't get a night's sleep, because ideas tend to come when you're trying to go to sleep, all times, random times of the day.
Very random.
The best thing is to note them down, which I usually forget to do. But
so do you work in your art studio at home then? You've got your art room there, that's where you're doing all your work?
I do, yes.
And you were saying before that sometimes even running water will inspire you, but what about music? Do you listen to music?
Of course.
And does that also affect how you're painting?
Definitely, definitely.
What do you listen to?
And it could range from classic music to rock music and what happens is the feelings you get from the music usually ends up turning out onto the canvas. I can see it.
You can see it?
I can definitely see it. Looking back at a canvas, I can sort of like remember what it was or what type of music I was listening to while painting.
Okay, so can you remember, I mean, was there reggae going on a bit there, or was there a bit of...
There was a bit of Secret Garden going over there, I remember. But I can see it.
You can tell the influence of the music.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a bit classical, it may be a bit more, I don't know how you can draw to classical music differently to rock, but obviously there is a difference. I mean, the strokes that you use and the beat, does that sort of like, you know, affect you then as you're... I'm fascinated because you're such an interesting person to speak to, Sheniz. I mean, tell me, if you're listening to rock, which is a bit more, you know, let's say a bit of headbanging, does it then affect the brush strokes then and everything?
It does. I mean, I like to use my fingers as well when I paint.
Really?
So it's not just brushes. I mean, in order to create a canvas, you've got to sort of like get dirty as well. You have to have the paint on you I mean, I've used my hands with them ones as well.
Yeah.
Sponges, brushes, fingertips.
You like to get hands-on then?
Yeah.
A bit dirty,
Yeah.
like to, you know, to really get in there. But I think, I mean, it's very, very beautiful, and I think these should be exhibited somewhere. So I'm inviting you to hopefully in the future maybe do an exhibition one day, Şeniz. But you're on Facebook. You're known as Shen Art, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So people can find, and I think you've got some of your work there.
Most of my work is all on there.
Are you on Instagram at all or not?
Yep.
You are?
Again, it's Shen
Shen Art, yeah? But it's with the S-E-N, isn't it? It's not with the, or is it with the shirt?
S-E-N.
S-E-N, Sen Art. And hopefully in the future, I know that you were saying this weekend, although when this programme is aired, you'll be at the Yucca Blend street fair in Lefkoşa.
Yeah.
And so, and you're selling prints there and everything, and these magnets.
Formed into magnets and much smaller prints. The prints are usually put onto polyester foam. And sold at places. I like going to these street festivals. Now that you just said the exhibition, I mean, I think my idea of an exhibition, an ideal for me would be, again, maybe like a street exhibition, rather than have like really popular, like political people come and do the grand opening. Just someone really casual, so people would just walk around, because that too inspires me, just what people go through every single day.
Yeah, yeah. No, that would be good. You know, art is meant to be shared with everyone, so maybe doing a street exhibition.
Art is for everyone.
Yeah, and just having it in the street and people walking by and making their comments, and as you say, just a member of the public coming and doing an opening.
I always say how, I mean, even the best music I've ever heard has to be like the buskers and the busking at underground.
Yes, yes.
You don't find that music anywhere else.
No.
So I feel as if like the best artwork also is like it brightens up the streets.
So Yucca Blend is going to be right up your street then this weekend coming up. So, I wish you all the best for that. But I have to say, I mean, you know, you've got little prints, you've got magnets, you've got, you know, you should really. I know that you weren't specifically at the any of the recent fairs that you were supporting, not the one for Hope for Pets. You weren't there then, but you donated a picture, or whatever. But do you ever think about maybe, I don't know, I know you don't want to sell your work, you know, make a commercial success of yourself, but these things should be shared with everybody. Is there any chance in the future that you might have a stall somewhere, or maybe, I don't know, work with a shop somewhere, selling in one corner some of your artwork?
I have done that. Yeah, I did that. I don't think it's running at the moment. A little coffee shop was using a whole wall. She gave me like a whole wall to put my canvases on. But the demand was so, I mean, there was so much. I was like painting 3-4 canvases every evening, and it was very, very tiring.
Oh, too much.
Yeah, and then in the end, she decided to keep most of them because it sort of like gave people time to look around as they ordered their coffee, and sort of saved her the time as well.
That would be good, yeah. You know,
it was a coffee shop, and most of the canvases were based on coffee. So I had like coffee quotes with coffee cups and different like designs of cups, and yeah, I've done that before.
So, you know, you're very, very inspirational, Şeniz. And I have to say that, you know, it's been a pleasure to chat with you on this programme, because, you know, you've united me, and hopefully maybe in the new year, 2020, a brand new decade's coming up. Who knows what's around the corner for you in the future, but maybe you'll be finding more inspirational quotes, not just coffee quotes or quotes about flying or birds or wings or women. It could be anything. Maybe people will come up to you and give you a quote and say to you, can you draw something and be inspired by this quote? That'd be really good, wouldn't it? To have your own, you know, that chance to, I might write something that inspires me and give it to you and say, come on, Şeniz.
That also makes me very happy, because then it's the empathy, isn't it? I'm trying to put what you feel onto a canvas.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with all the future work that you've got lined up. Good luck with all the work at schools that you're teaching. I'm sure your kids, I know that your kids are very lucky to have you as an art teacher, because they have a very good mentor to work with. So well done. Keep these blooming ladies coming. Please share your work. And like we said before, it's Shen Art on Facebook, Shen Art on Instagram. And you don't have a separate website, do you, or anything like that?
No.
But we can find you on social media. And so if anyone wants to meet Shen, then they can. And a lovely lady, very inspirational. And good luck with all that you do, Sheniz. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you, John. Thank you for inviting me.
You're more than welcome. And with that, we've come to the end of our very interesting and lovely inspirational chat with Şeniz Ercüment. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. Until next week, take care. Bye-bye.